All right. My name is Pawan Oberoi. I'm part of a startup in the Bay Area, California called Epiphany, and we are the ones who created Whiteboard.chat. So the agenda for today is this, that I'll give you an introduction to Whiteboard.chat. We'll demo all of the features that we can in this time frame. We'll give you a chance to play with it live if you haven't done that before as a student, experience it as a student. And of course, we'll do question and answers. If during my presentation, if you have questions, I would request you to please put them on the Zoom chat, and Sid, one of my colleagues, is going to periodically read them out to me. And the way we do this is that we stay the full hour, and at the top of the hour, we'll stop the recording, but we stay 30 more minutes after that. If you have specific questions, or if we haven't addressed something, or if you want to show us something or engage with us, we'll stay 30 minutes after the top of the hour on the call as well. Thank you again for all of you to join us today and give us your valuable time. Where does Whiteboard.chat fit in? It's primarily an engagement and observability platform. It works really well with communication platforms such as Google Meet, Zoom, and Microsoft Teams. We are using it with Zoom. A lot of teachers use it with the other two platforms as well. And it fits nicely with the existing learning management systems too. You can take the invitation links from Whiteboard.chat, put them in Google Classroom or Schoology. You can even embed Whiteboard.chat as an embedded iframe application on Canvas. So the kids do not even need to leave that application to use it, which is great. But the main purpose behind Whiteboard.chat, this is the really powerful feature behind it, is that it gives the teacher the ability to look over the shoulder of all the children in the class at the same time, right? You can see where the children are, how are they progressing with the assignment that is given to them. And if somebody is struggling or doing well, you can work with them. You can join their board on a one-on-one basis and help them on a one-on-one basis. And then you can go back and keep looking at the whole class. And this is the most powerful feature. Sorry, I'll let you mute. Good. Okay, sorry about that. So this is the most important, the most powerful feature where the teacher can observe all the kids simultaneously. And we have been told that this has brought up engagements for even children who were not engaging in person, because now they know that the teacher is observing them live and has the ability to help them and assist them when they need to. Whiteboard.chat is a free platform. We launched it we intend to keep it completely free. We will keep it completely free for educators forever. We launched it in mid-August this year. It's growing exponentially. It's about 40,000 users a day around the world who use it. They use it in hybrid settings, they use it in remote settings, and even in-person classrooms now, because teachers don't want to scare the children by wearing gloves, giving them paper or collecting papers and so forth. So it's growing quite a bit. This is the Thanksgiving week, so that's why you see a little dip there. And Whiteboard.chat is completely designed by teachers, I say, right? Like we started this platform accidentally. We have another product that we create in our company for enterprises. And we took parts of that product when the COVID-19 hit, and we created Whiteboard.chat. And since then, there's been a large community of teachers who have worked with us all through the duration and gave us suggestions and feedback. And all we do is that we sit back and just engage with the teachers, and we implement all the features they request. And these are music teachers, chemistry teachers, maths teachers from around the world, tutors, right? So please engage with us, send us feedback. Easiest is to email us, but follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter as well. We have a group called Teachers Using Whiteboard.chat on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, it's a very active group where teachers share tips with each other. We engage with them as well. And if there's any problems, we help out. And we have teachers voting on features we should be working on. We do weekly releases of Whiteboard.chat as well. We release maybe 10 odd new features every week, if not more. So please follow us if you want to keep up to date on what we are doing. We do send out every Sunday a newsletter which has all the new stuff that has come out as well that week. So let me pause for a second and see if there are any questions. Sid, you're muted, cannot hear you.
Yep. So a few questions about the features, but I think it might be better to address them as you get into. Yeah.
Okay. So that said,
I would like to ask, is it possible for you to allow us to record this session?
I'm recording it. After the session, I'll post it on all the social media as well, a link to this YouTube video, right? And you can get it from there.
Thank you.
All right. So Whiteboard.chat is a web-based platform. You don't need to install any application. It works along a slew of devices. It works really well on computers, on Chromebooks, on iPads, on mobile phones. It's not as friendly as it is on some of the other platforms, but students do use it, especially in countries like Brazil and India, where people don't have access to computers as easily, but they do use it. We have a privacy policy here. If you want to list it, we don't do any advertising. We do not collect any privacy information from the children. We are not selling any of your data to anybody. There's a terms and conditions here. We do sign specific statewide ordinances or county-wide, even district-wise contracts with schools. So if you want something to be signed for it to be enabled in your school, we'd be more than happy to do that. So Whiteboard.chat has two modes really. One is a regular collaborating mode where there is a single board, everybody jumps on it. We can draw together, draw on each other, work in real time. But the more interesting thing which I'm going to talk about primarily today is this teaching mode, where you can create, assign, and live teach individual student boards, right? You can upload your lessons as a multi-page PDF, and then you can start teaching the kids, where each kid gets their own individual copy of the board that they can start using. And you can, of course, create groups when you want kids to work with each other, or the teacher can join the group boards or the kids boards and so forth. So you click start teaching. This is the first page that comes up. You can, of course, start drawing here, right? A very basic drawing tool. You can type anywhere on the screen. This is the easiest way to access text. You can just type anywhere you want, and the text box is automatically put on there. You don't need to click any buttons. We want to keep it easier for the kids. If you want to change the colors, you go here, you can click this thing, you can change the color to whatever you want. And you see the whole interface color changes as well with the color of your pen. Some people love this, some people hate it. So we have an option to disable this as well, which I will show you in a bit. You can change the thickness of the pen. So by using this slider, you can change the thickness of the pen. The thickness also changes the size of the font. So if you make it thinner, the font becomes smaller and vice versa. There's a built-in highlighter as well. So you can use the opacity slider to change the opacity of the pen, and it becomes a highlighter at that point. So you can highlight different sections. There's a whole slew of tools on the left-hand side. You can open this toolbar if you want to read what these tools are. Right, I showed you the text box. There's a built-in eraser, which you can just erase objects as a whole. Right, you can erase the whole objects on the screen. Anytime you press escape, it takes you back to your default tool, which in my case is set to drawing right now. So it is a draw tool. It's an easy way to get back to your tool by pressing escape. You can, I'll show you these tools, then I'll show you the upload files. There's a regular tools. All of these are requested by teachers. There's a line tool. There is an arrow tool, right? There is a You can draw rectangles, circles, right? You can do rich text. You can do post-it notes, right? You can create post-it notes, type on them, draw on them, right? You have a rich text editor, right? So if you want to write like longer paragraphs, not just a sentence, right? You can use the rich text editor to write longer text. You can edit any of this text. You just either double click or right click it in the draw mode, and you can say edit text, and you can keep editing that text whatever you wanted. It's same with the rich text editor as well. You have an infinite cloner built in. So any of the objects that I draw, I can just clone them very easily by clicking and dragging them, right? It will make clones of those objects very easily. We have a way to embed a link. So if you want to embed a link to an external website, for example, you can just use this. So if I want people to go to Google, for example, right, I can just go create a link here, and it will put it on the board, and the children can just click this link. It will open it in a new tab. Once they're done with that exercise, they can come back and to the whiteboard as well. We have the ability to embed. So I can erase any of these objects. They're objects, all of them are objects. So you can just use the eraser to erase any of them, right? We can embed YouTube videos directly in here as well. So you don't even need to leave the application. So you just use the YouTube link. You click it on the canvas again, and then you can just put a link from YouTube. So if I were to go to YouTube, I can pick a YouTube video and I can put the link here, right? And that's it. So at that point, the link is available to the students, and they can, on their boards also, they will see it, and they can just watch the video right there as you see it. And then we have more tools. We have a built-in compass. So you can do constructions, for example, math constructions. Teachers asked us for this. You can, of course, change the size of the circle. You can change the radius and so forth. There's an inbuilt math editor, which is really cool. It requires a little bit of a learning curve, but you can actually write really complex equations with it if you wanted to, right? And then you can do so you can keep doing complex equations with it. Let me just erase this circle thing, right? And then there's a help here. So if you go to these three buttons on the top right, there's a built-in help. You can open the help link. You can see there's a math input guide, right? It'll show you all of the stuff you can do with the math editor. What are the different features supported? You can write quadratic equations, you can do polynomials, fractions, summations, all of that stuff, right? So it's quite powerful. If you're used to typing LaTeX, it understands LaTeX as well. So that's the math editor. There's a dice built in. So there's a dice, that's a programmable dice. You can add a number of dice in here. You can say I want 2 or 3, and then you can program them that you want them to be run in, have these numbers in this order, right? And then when you use it, at that point, you can actually, it'll start going through that order of what you specified in the role, which is quite useful too for students. Then you can hide the device. So I think I'm going to stop here. These are all the basic tools. I'm going to stop here for a second and see if you have questions. Otherwise, I'll show you how do you prepare for the lessons and move on.
Hello, Pawan. I have a question.
Sure. I'd request you to type it on the Zoom chat, but sure, it's unmuted. You can ask.
I didn't realize that, sorry. Two things I faced. My eraser, when I'm trying to erase, it erases a whole entity at one time. I can't do what you just did, erase portions of a line. Is there something I should change in any settings?
So there is no, right now the object eraser is a whole eraser. So whatever you draw, you cannot erase parts of it. Some people do use a white pen if they want to do it, but that's up to people how they choose to do it, right? They can do that. You can draw with a white pen on top with a thick white pen if you wanted to.
I see. And the second option, the second question is, I put the dice on my board I was just playing, and I couldn't delete it. I had to like start over. How could I delete if I insert a certain, like an app on my board? How do I delete it?
So the dice is the only one that you have to go back to this menu. So if you show dice, right, like for example, and then you have to go back to the tools menu and click hide dice. That's the only one you cannot delete, but all the other objects you can delete from the board itself.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to again use the mic.
That's fine.
Yes, sir. And I would like, I don't know if, do you have a transparency a feature where you can have different type of grids in the background?
Yes,
for,
I will.
Drawing.
I will show you that. But again, we have a lot of people in this call, about 100 people. So I would request you to please type the questions so we can club them together and answer them at the same time, right? Versus otherwise we'll never get through what we want to get through in this webinar.
Well, that's because you let the first one speak, and instead of following the rules, I typed something in. Would you
So
mind
I will
answering my
get.
question?
I'm sorry. I will get to all the questions. That's why I paused. So Sid, can you please read the questions? Sid, you are muted. We cannot.
No, I'm
hear.
not going to speak. I want to follow the rules like we're supposed to. Read the chat like you're supposed to do. And these other people need to stop interrupting. I'm being patient here. And
Okay.
by the way, when you do speak, I can hardly understand what you're saying. I don't know if you can, if I'm garbled, but honestly.
Is it? No, your voice is fine. I'll try to speak a little slower. I do have an accent.
No, it's not you. It's the other people that are coming in and speaking and disrupting. Just follow the script and answer our questions. I really would appreciate that.
Yes, please. Thank you. Sid?
Yep. Pawan, so first question was, how do they subscribe for the newsletter?
So if you just sign up to Whiteboard.chat, if you sign up here, if you click this gear icon, if you're not logged in, it will ask you to log in. You can log in with your Google account or your Facebook account, or you can create a local account. Once you sign up, we have your email, we'll send you the newsletter.
Okay. How much learning do the students need to do to navigate this program?
So this program is used by kids from pre-K all the way to universities. So we have the way to restrict the number of tools the kids see. So they can only see basic drawing tools and erasers, for example. So they do not need to use any of the fancy functionalities that is available to the teacher.
Right. When a teacher selects the size of the pen, is it controlled by the teacher for the student as well?
No, the students control their own pen sizes. If you want a feature to have the ability to control the size on the kid side as well, we can add that, but please send us an email or reach out to us on social media.
Yeah. Can you show the math tool again a little bit slowly?
Sure. So if you click this tools thing, you hit the math button, right? Math tool works well if you have a larger font, because otherwise it's too tiny. So, and then you can just type. So you can, like, I'm typing this stuff, I can do like things like that, right? Sorry. Yeah. Anything else, sir?
Yes. So there are a few feature requests. There's one about just being able to have a smaller drawing size, but at the same time a larger font size, because a teacher has to keep switching between those two. So we'll definitely note those down. Is there a way for adding audio?
Yes.
If you want to embed audio?
Yes, I will show you all of that. So is there any other things that I have covered there where people have questions, right?
No, I think we can keep going for now.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the way to prepare for a lesson, most teachers do, is essentially at that point.
I'm sorry, but you didn't answer my question in the chat.
Say.
Yeah, so I will go through all of them. I'm just trying to not break Pravan's flow, so I will get through all of them. I'm going out of sequence. I do agree with that, but I'm just trying to help him keep his flow.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
So the basic thing is you upload a file. So you can upload different things. For example, you can upload PDFs, which are multi-pages, which is what most people do. They have a multi-page PDF. You can just click the upload file. I have 3 pages in this PDF. So this is page number 1, right? Whiteboard.chat takes each page in the PDF and converts it into one page of Whiteboard.chat. So page number 1, we have page number 2, page number 3 automatically, right? And then at that point, you have the ability to start annotating on it. You can type on it, right? You can make copies of it if you wanted to, right? You can type on, sorry, this is, okay, I know why. So I can lock this first. So it doesn't move, okay. And then I can use the text box and I can type on it. All right, so you can type on the PDF directly, right? You can start annotating whichever way. You can, of course, use your pen if you wanted to, all of that stuff. Now, at this point, I am going to invite students into my classroom. So I hit this invite button. This is important. Don't use this URL. Use this invite button. You have 3 ways to invite students. You can send them an email. They can scan this QR code, or the easiest way is to copy this invite URL and put it on Schoology, on Google Classroom, or any of the other chats that if you wanted to, right? I'm gonna paste it on our internal chat for now so that my colleagues can join as students. And at the same time, I'm going to also open another browser in parallel where you can see it, experience it as a student as well. So this is an incognito browser, so it doesn't, I can open it as a student, right? So I just posted that link. It'll ask me for a name. Students never need an account into Whiteboard.chat, so that you can give it any name you want to, right? And then they get access to the page. And as a student, I can directly start working on this, right? I can start working on it. I can start typing on it if I wanted to, right? I can start doing any of this activity. And but I cannot erase any of the objects that the teacher has put. I cannot erase their stuff. I cannot move their stuff. Whatever the teacher has put on the board, I cannot do anything with it. And that, see, whatever the student is typing or writing is not on the teacher's board at all. It's on their independent board. And as a teacher, you have this ability to go into this grid view, which is a powerful thing. You can change the size of the grid. You can make it like a 2x2. And you can see all the students in your classroom, for example, and what they are doing in real time. Right? Like, for example, I'm drawing here on real time. You can see it is being updated here in real time as well. Right? So you can see as the students progress through their assignment, they finish page number 1, they go to page number 2. So the way to envision the grid is like, it's like a camera on top of each kid's shoulder. You can see exactly what the kid is doing at any given time, which page are they on, what are they working on, right? So you have the ability to watch them live. You can join a kid's board as well. So from here, you can just join them, right? And now you can work with them on a one-on-one basis. You can say either good job or this is not right, right? You can even give them stickers, right? You can click this. I will show you this in more detail in a bit, but there's a whole palette of things you can put. You can give them a sticker saying, hey, good job, right? You did a good job with this activity. So, and that's individualized to that student, right? And you can go back to the top of the class and observe the whole class at the same time again, right? So that's the basic stuff. So I'm going to pause for a second and see, Sid, if there are questions at this point.
Yeah, so there's one question about creating groups. So maybe you want to get into that.
So groups I'll cover later. Are there anything that we have covered at this point?
There's a question about adding grids, so rectangular
Yes.
grids,
Okay.
Cartesian grids.
Let me show you grids. So if you go to this grid thing here, you can click this and you can see different types of grids, and whatever you put on your board, this is page number 4, it comes on the student's board as well, right? So you have regular grid, there's a big grid which teachers use to do math exercises. I'm typing letters for some reason. Right? There is a primary lined, so you can actually do handwriting exercises as well. There is a programming grid. There's even a music sheet. Music teachers love this. You can use this in conjunction with our palette here. So if you have, we have music symbols here. So we have a lot of things in this palette which I will show you. There's music symbols. You can write music notes in here, right? You can have, there is math symbols for younger kids who don't want to type math with LaTeX. You can just use math symbols directly from here, from the palette, from the manipulatives. There are letters, like regular letters. There's magnetic letters with different colors for vowels and consonants. There's a whole bunch of math manipulatives. Teachers love these, like 100 blocks, 10 blocks, 1 blocks, right? There is even a protractor. There's a ruler, right? You have circles, you have shapes. You can do axis along with the grid. You can put an axis, so you can actually do geometry. You have 10 frames. We have number bonds. We have, again, all of these are very easy for us to add. These are all teacher requested. It takes us literally 10 minutes to add these. So if you have something that we are missing, we'll be very glad to add it. There's a place value chart, right? There are number lines, right? There are arches, there's fractions, right? So you have fraction tiles, you can do fractions with it. There are touch point numbers, there's 100 charts, right? There's a multiplication chart. So a whole slew of math manipulatives here. I filled up the screen, so let me go to the next screen.
And can you also show how do you open up the palette again?
Yes, so if you click this palette icon here, it will open up two things. One is an easy color picker for younger kids, and on the side is this, right, thing. You have reward stickers here. You can give them trophies. You can give like good job for kids, right? We have game stickers. You can actually play chess in here as well if you wanted to. We have we have US currency, so we have like dollar bills. We have cents, dollar coins. Even we have Canadian currency. We recently added chemistry. A teacher asked us to add chemistry manipulative, so you can do construction for organic chemistry as well. We have seasonal stickers we put in, so we have kids love these. We have Christmas stickers right now, right? You can actually manipulate them as well, animate them as well. So you can actually animate any of the objects, not only these stickers, but you can animate them. So if you want to call out attention to certain pieces on the screen, you can do that, right? Again, this is all available to kids as well as teachers to use, right? We have Hanukkah stickers. Again, all of these are all requested by teachers, and we keep putting them. The New Year stuff. There's a new thing, couple of new things we added here, which I'll show you. One is widgets. So we have a clock, analog clock that you can put in, and you can give kids ability to change time and test them for time. All of the stuff that I'm doing is visible on the grid view, right? So the teachers can see as the kids use these stickers, use these math things as they're working through it. We actually added a spinner as well, which I will show you, which is really cool. So you can actually put a spinner here, and then it's a configurable spinner, so you can configure the options that you want on the spinner, right? You can make it such that the spinner works independently, or it is a synced spinner across all the class, right? So you have 4 sections, for example, and then when the kids go to that page where you put the spinner, they will be able to use it as well, right? So when they spin it, or when the teacher spins it, it spins exactly the same way. So
few questions, actually lots of questions coming in. How do you configure the grid view so that you can see different number of students?
So on the grid view, you just click the grid view here. There is a gear icon next to it. So you can say how many students you want. You can have up to 20 students on a grid, on a single page on the grid view, but you have multiple pages. So you can go through the multiple pages on the grid on this side.
And how many students can the service host itself?
So the whiteboard right now, we have it limiting to 100 students, but there's no real limit. It's arbitrary. So we can go up if you think you need more. Let us know. Nobody's asked for more.
Okay. Could you quickly just show how to upload the PDF as well?
Sure. So what for that exercise, what I will do is that I'll do a slightly different exercise for this time, right? I'm going to upload a different PDF which has continents. So I'll say, so remember one thing that so whatever the teacher puts on the screen, the kids don't have the ability to move it, right? So you just click this button, upload file, and you can just pick a file from your a PDF file from your local hard drive, and it'll upload it, right? If you have 3 pages, it'll upload 3 pages. Now, what I want is I'm preparing an exercise where I want kids to put certain entities. I want to create my own palette as a teacher. I don't want to use the objects that are given to me. So I can I want kids to identify where is Asia, where is Africa, and where are oceans, right? I can also pick images from Google. So if I go to google.com and look for dinosaurs, right? And then you can just use the snip tool. You can copy it and then paste it here, right? It pastes the image onto the whiteboard automatically. And then I can move it to where I want to, right? And then I can also resize it if I want to, right? I can make this smaller. And now as a teacher, so this is a different menu. So if you double click, you can do different things. You can animate, delete, you can resize, you can rotate this, you can clone it, you can set it as a background, you can lock it such that you don't accidentally delete. But these are the 2 interesting ones where students can move this object now, right? Students can move this object and student can clone this object. And similarly for this one, students can clone this object. Now, as a student, all the younger kids, this is very useful for. They just need to use the move tool and they just go here and they pick this Asia and then they can put it at the right place. That's it. They just need to drag and drop it and it'll take it to the right place. Right? They don't need to have any fancy tools to actually move it around at that point anymore, right? So it becomes very easy for students to use this in conjunction with the teacher.
Pawan, a few questions about the students' view as well as their abilities to modify things. So can students see each other's boards? When they write things, where can they write and what control they have?
So the students have access only to their board, right? So you can see that students don't have the access to the grid view, right? So they can only write on their board and nobody else's board, right? They don't even have access to see who the other participants are in the class, right? They just see themselves. That said, you can make co-teachers. So if you click, for example, this avatar menu here, right? You can say, hey, I want this person, this student to now be a co-teacher. You can just click this make teacher button and now they will have access to the grid. So they have access to the whole class and they can help out. So if somebody raises their hand, the students can raise their hand by clicking this button. Praveen, can you raise your hand, please? So you can see that Praveen is asking for help, right? And then the co-teacher can go help that person. If you click this button, it will take you to that person's board, and then you can help them on a one-on-one basis. And then you can go back to your board. So you can make co-teachers very easily who have access to the whole class, but the students don't have access to each other. You can undo the co-teacher so that they are back to being a student. You can showcase a student's work. So if you want to showcase a student's work, for example, I know Sid is doing really well. I can press this showcase button. And now you see that everybody's board has been updated to Sid's board. They can watch what Sid is doing. But I cannot draw on this board anymore as a student, right? Teachers can, of course, do whatever they want. But and it's anonymous. You don't know whose work is being showcased as well, right? And then once you're done with the showcase activity, you can close this, and then the students are taken back to their individual boards where they were earlier.
Well, there's a question about the ability for teachers to write on their board without it showing up on student boards.
Yes. So one thing that is a little different about our program is that we have the ability, whatever the teacher, for example, I'm moving stuff here, right? You can see I'm making copies, I'm making them smaller, or if I were to use the draw tool, everything is transferred live to the student board, right? But you as a teacher have the ability to toggle it. So you can turn it off. So you can say toggle replication. And then you see this dialog appear, real-time replication disabled, right? When the replication is disabled, whatever you do on your board is not sent to the students anymore, right? So the whatever annotations you do, whatever you type is not sent. And you can re-enable replication, but all these objects are not replicated. They never go to the student board. If you want them to go, you can actually move them slightly. This is a hack one of the teachers found, and then it'll show up, but otherwise it doesn't go onto the student.
A question about limiting access from specific domains or email addresses.
So we don't have that right now. We can add it. There's a request for like an administrator access from a county or a district. We can add it. Please reach out to us on email and let us know what you need. We can add that.
Okay. Is there a feature to upload directly from Drive? They have to download the PDFs from Drive and then upload them right now.
Right. We are working on a feature where we can upload things from Google Drive. We don't have that yet. We will get to it in a few weeks, I hope. All right. Sorry, more questions?
There's one question about just being able to disable the video conference feature.
Right. So the video conference is only available to the teachers, not to the students, you can see, right? But there is a specific website where we created where you can whitelist only that. It's called wb.whiteboard.chat. It's the same website. It's just that the video controls are disabled. So if you want your schools to have that, you can just use that.
Yeah. Question about when you send out an invite link and the student clicks on it and then types in their name, the ID shows up there, and some teachers confused about that ID and want to get rid of it.
So that's for the so I will show you the group functions. Maybe I'll explain that really quickly here. So what you do is that now remember we are doing individual activities, right? You can actually create group boards as well. So you click this avatar menu, right? You can say several things. You can say lock the class. So this board is locked. Now students cannot write on it. So if you're doing assessments, for example, right, you can lock the class after the assessment. The students don't have the ability to change anything. Or if you're teaching, you don't want the students scribbling on the board, right? You can lock it and then do your work. And you have the ability to make it such that the teachers follow your page. So you click this button, you can say follow teacher's page. Now as you change page numbers, the teacher student's page number changes to where you are, right? It automatically follows you. There is the ability to create group boards, which is more interesting. Now I can create a group board. You can press that create group board. You can select the students you want. So I want all 3 of my students. Move them over to the right. That's it, right? And give this group a name. You can call it blue, for example. And now when you create this group, what happens is all the students are automatically taken to the blue group. You can see here on the top. Then they can pick the draw button and then they can start drawing on the blue group. You can see that other people are writing in different colors. You can even see Sid's mouse, for example, here, right? And you can see, but even on the group boards, when you're doing group activities, if you try to erase the group, you can erase only your objects, not the objects that the other kids have placed on it. So which is very good, right? You don't want one kid to be erasing other kids' work at any time. So that's a useful feature to have on the group boards as well. Okay, and once you're done with the group activity, you just hit this trash icon. It doesn't delete the board, but it will take you back, the kids back to their individual boards. And all of this work that you're doing is saved in the manage board. So if you were to give this a name, let's say December 10th, right, board, all of the work, if you click this manage boards, you can go back and see all of your boards saved here automatically, right? So you can see this is the December 10th board with all the blue group and all the student works. All of the work that they do get saved in real time. There's, even if they're working asynchronously, they're not in the class, they're doing their work, it all gets saved automatically. The teacher doesn't need to be connected, right? And you can go back anytime and you can view it as to what they're doing and what they're doing. Some teachers have shared, so we have a community sharing as well, which I will show you in a second. Some teachers have shared their lessons for free. There are about, I think, 50 odd lessons here from different parts of the world, different what they have created. So you can go here and see what other teachers have shared. Just in the manage board, you go to community boards, you can see all of these boards. And when you hit this copy, it will make a copy for you to use in your class. There's a bingo. There's really, you can play bingo as well in Whiteboard.chat. I hope I can show you today. But that's.
So, Pawan, a few questions. Can the teachers monitor the group boards?
Yes. So whatever the kids are doing, remember, let me create the group one more time. So I can say, go here and say create group. Right. Again, I add the students I want in the group, and I call this green this time. Right now, you can see that all the students will be on the green group, right? And then they can start drawing. But remember that, let me change this to green, make it bigger, right? So the grid view is like a camera on top of the kid's shoulder. So whatever the kid is doing, whichever board they are on, you'll see all of these three kids are on the green board now. You can actually see them live, that they're all on the green board, right? And they're doing this activity. And as a teacher, you also have the ability to join that board, the group board, right? And if you double click or use the select icon, right? So if I go to the green board, right, I can double click any of the objects and it'll show me who updated it, who is drawing that object, right? Who's the author of that thing. You can see all of that stuff from here as well, right? You see Praveen wrote that one. So yeah, it's easy for students and teachers to use the group boards as well. And you can observe the whole class no matter what the students are doing with this camera on top of their head in the grid view.
One question about whether the students can access the board when the teacher is offline.
Yes, the students can access the board as soon as so if I were to close this browser and click that link again, it'll take me back exactly to my board wherever it is, right? If the teachers haven't locked it, you can continue doing their work as they have left off, and it'll automatically get saved as well. So that as a teacher, you can go back, this is a very quick way. This is a new feature we added where you can do quick assessments. So you can click this 3 button icons and you can click open class boards, and you can go from one student to the next student to the third student boards very quickly. You can delete students from here as well. So if you want to kick a student out, you can delete them from here as well.
Yeah, quite a few questions on just assignment setup, so board setup, whether they can do it in before joining the classes, how they can make copies and things like that. So maybe you want to talk about those now.
Yeah, so I'll show you some of the other features here. So on the manage book section here, right, there are several things you can do. You can send a copy. So if you have prepared a lesson, you have uploaded everything you wanted to. If you want to send a copy to another teacher, you can just click this. It'll create a link, and this link, if you email it to 5 teachers and all of them click it, it'll make an individual copy for each of the teachers so they can use it in their class, right? You can publish it to the community, which we request, right? So other teachers from around the world can use it as well. So that's a useful thing to do. You can delete the board forever. You can clear all the pages, like, for example, if I want to clear all the pages in my classroom, even the student pages, you can just use that so that you can continue using the same link. You can use that activity as well, right? You can upload bingo, which I will show you. You can upload, there's an Among Us game we are creating, which I will show you as well at some stage. and then you can save a copy. So if, for example, if you have a class that you are teaching a section A and section B, you can save a copy. It will create a copy of this board, which you can use for a different classroom, which has a different set of students, right? You can export, import boards too. So you can, our boards do expire in 2 weeks, but you have the ability to go and keep refreshing the expiry date from the managed boards. But if you don't want to do that, you can just export the board, save it on your local hard drive or in Google Drive, and you can import it at any given stage later on if you wanted to. Okay, so Sid, any more questions?
Yeah, did you already talk about the locking feature?
Yes. So
okay, the question about that sort of related question was, can you lock a single student?
No, so at this moment, we don't have the ability to lock a single student. You have the ability to delete that student's board, but we can add if you want, we can add the ability to lock students out as well.
Okay, in the manage boards manage book page, there are several boards with the name unsaved. Why do they have so many unsaved names?
So by default, it's a misnomer. Actually, it should be called unnamed. So when you click something and you don't name it, it becomes an unsaved board, but it should be actually be unnamed.
Yeah, and they can certainly name their boards even from the managed boards page.
Yes,
so
that's right. You can do a lot of things from the managed boards. You can create folders, right? You can create folders. You can organize things into subfolders. You can move things around if you want to between, and you can of course rename it right from here as well if you wanted to. Remember, you have to press. There's a usability issue where you have to press enter after you hit this rename. You have to press enter for it to take on that name, but that's it. You can rename it from here as well.
Okay. A question about uploading documents again. Can you upload PowerPoint files directly?
No, you have to convert everything to PDF or images, then you can upload them. So one other thing I will show you in the palette, this is a new thing that we added, a couple of new things. You can create your own library of objects as well. So if I wanted, for example, the dinosaur that I picked to be available for me for next few lessons, or even if I wanted to create, I can just double click it or use the select to and say add to palette, right? And then it'll put it in my personal library, right? And then you just hit save and it'll show up here. So I can use this in, now it's an object that is available for me. If there's a special manipulator that you need or use and we don't have it, you can create your own library out of it as well. And this can be anything. It can even be a drawing you make on the whiteboard, right? Any of the objects can be added into your palette. There's a new feature, fairly new feature we added, which is quite neat, is that you can actually embed audio and video onto you as a teacher. Other students can embed audio or video onto the whiteboards as well. So they can say, you go to this camera icon, you can say add audio video. As a teacher, you have to allow video, but by default, they can do audio. So they can just say hello, right? And just say hello, 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 and record it. Make sure it comes up. You can validate that this is what you want and just click save, right? And then it's available to whoever is on that page to view it or use it. You can record instructions. You can record kids reading out paragraphs, any of that stuff as audio. Similarly, we also have the ability to take photos from webcam. So if kids are actually doing work, for example, on real pen and paper, this is another useful feature. They can just take a photo, right? And that photo shows up on the whiteboard as well. So as a student, as a teacher, I have the ability to, I'll see it on the grid view, obviously, right? I have the ability to go annotate their picture directly. This is useful for younger kids who don't want to work around how to upload photos or scan photos and all of that stuff, right? So it's very useful for them. Okay, so I'll stop for a second, Sid, here and see if you have questions.
Yeah, is there a limit on the number of pages and the number of boards?
So there are, right now we have again, these are all artificial limits. I think the number of pages in a board is 100, I think. Yeah, it's about 100. No, sorry. The number of pages in a board is 50, but number of pages in a PDF that you can upload is all 40 right now. And then there is no limit to the number of boards that you can have.
Okay. Could you show the follow teacher feature again, please?
Yes. So you go to the instructor board. You want to make sure that you are on the instructor board. You can check where you are on the top here at any given time, right? And then you can click this and just enable follow teacher, right? So and then the students will automatically be taken to the page you are on. So if you change the page to a different page, they'll be taken to a different page and so forth.
Okay. Can you again show how to change the grid, the background grid?
So you hit this grid button here, and you can pick which ones you want to use to set the grid.
Great. I think there's a few questions about how the various math manipulatives can be accessed. Would you please show that again?
Yes. So you can just click this palette button here, right? And then you change this guy to math, or you change it to manipulative, right? And then you can set these manipulatives. For example, I've done an exercise where you can have, I want children to count up to, I want them to use these manipulatives. So instead of them pulling from the palette, you can set it such that they can just pull from here. So I can use the select tool, and you say students can clone, and then same thing, students can clone, and students can clone, right? And this one, let me get rid of the dinosaur, right? And then you can just say make me 220, the number 220, right? And then on the kid side, all they really need to do is again use the move tool, and you can just say, okay, I want 2 of these, right? And then 2 of these to make you 220, right? So it makes it super easy for them to drag and drop or drop stuff. They don't even have to go to the manipulative section to pull in the tools. So most teachers do that. They put the tools they want the kids to use right on there.
Okay. In the interest of time, Pawan, you want to invite the teachers?
Yes. So, okay, we have 10 more minutes. So what I'll do is there's a new, so what I'll do is that I'll create a bingo board. This is a special board. If you have, we'll send you a link as to where you can download these bingo tiles. But these bingo tiles, what they do is that it's a special kind of PDF where each page in the PDF is a different bingo tile. And when you upload it to Whiteboard.chat, right? What you can do is that once you upload it to Whiteboard.chat here, you upload it using a special tool. So you go to Manage Book, you say Upload Bingo, right? And then you can say you find that file. And what Whiteboard.chat will do is that for each participant, it will give them a random tile out of this bingo playing deck that I have. And then now if I send you the invite as teachers, so I'm going to paste this on Zoom chat, right? So you can actually see it. And then if you click that, you can join as a student. So you should be able to join as a student. I will also join this guy onto the same board so you can see. And then everybody gets a different page of that tile, right? So they will, you can start playing bingo right from there. I should have changed the default page to brush. Yep. So you can just start drawing on the bingo board. I can see all the people who are on the bingo board, right? And then as a teacher, you have the ability to watch all the students playing bingo live, right? And then you have the ability to cheat or basically say who's the student you want to win bingo, right? Because you have the ability to see them all at the same time. Okay, I think we can pause for a second here and see if there are any more questions.
Yeah, Pawan. So if there's a follow teacher in progress and there are 2 teachers, will there be any conflict?
No, so yeah, so it's for the whole classroom. So they will be in sync as well. If there's a follow teacher on, both of the teachers will be on the same page too.
Okay. And could you again show how you can configure the grid view to see different number of students?
So again, if you press the grid view here on the bottom, there's a little gear next to it, right? So I just changed it to show me 20 students, but I can change this gear to say I want 3 by 3. So 3 rows and three boards per row and 3 rows per page. So that's what you see.
There's a question about the classroom timer.
Oh, I didn't show that. So yeah, so there's a timer built in as well. So if you click this clock on the top, right, on here, you can say, I want everybody to have 5 minutes for this activity, and you'll see it on all of your screen. There'll be a countdown timer started, which will show that there's 5 minutes left for this activity. And then you can just click this button next to it. You can drag these around if you want to, or you can click this button and it'll turn off the timer for everybody.
Okay. And again, there's a question about whether the students can see the other students.
So if you're on the bingo board right now, you see that you don't even know who the other students are, right? You don't have the ability to see the grid view, right? So you can never see each other's work. You can never see even who are the participants in that conference.
Okay. Then do we have any algebra tiles?
We do not, but we can add it.
Okay.
If there's something specific you need, let us know, and we can quickly add those tiles. Sure.
Yeah, I think the teacher who asked about that, if you could just write an email to feedback@whiteboard.chat, we'll love to get some more information about that, and we can add it in.
So.
Okay. I think there's a question about the specific invite for co-teachers.
Yes, so there is, if you click this avatar menu, right, you can, if you go down, start an avatar menu, in the settings menu, there is a lot of settings in this gear menu as well. You can change the default tool for the class, for example. You can force that only logged in students can log, you force them to have a validated email to join. You can say students have very simple tools, like I have given you guys very simple tools right now, right? You can say students can only draw on their board. You can enable webcam video recording, just like I put audio on the board. You can put videos also. You can enable that for that class. You have a direct invite for a co-teacher. So if you're doing being observed by a principal, for example, you can just send them this link directly, and they'll come in as a co-teacher. They don't need to disrupt the class. It's like almost walking into the classroom, observing it, and leaving at any given time, right? There's also a change in font. So if you want to change a default from this Chewy font, which is a little bit playful, to something more formal, like a Courier or a Roberto font, you can change it too, right? You can change this setting where the pen color and the board colors match, right? So you can actually click that. And now if I change the color of my pen, you can see that the board color remains the same. And
I think some teachers may have difficulty in accessing some of the tools because you have to scroll some of them. So in case you don't find any of the tools either
wait, I have the baby mode on, so that's why they don't have access to all the tools. So if I'll turn that off. So if you guys can just refresh your browser, you'll see all the tools available to you as a student now.
Is there a way to allow only logged in users?
Yes, so you can just click this settings menu and say only logged in users can join board. So then the kids need to have a validated email. They can log in with their Google login, of course, or they'll have to have a validated email to join that board. So you know for sure who's writing what, right?
Can you upload students directly from Google Classroom?
Not at this time. We don't like to save any PII information for the kids, so but we can add it again. Please send us an email if you have a specific need. We can always add more stuff. Sorry.
Is there a way to allow a student to write on a teacher board?
The only way is that you can make them a co-teacher right now, and then they have the ability to come to the student teacher board and write there. There's been a request where they want to invite students to come to the teacher board to write. We will add that at some stage too.
On an iPad, can the student shrink the screen?
So the students cannot shrink the screen on an iPad. You can use a 2-finger scroll. We recently added that, so you can pan around on the iPad with it. But there's been a request to auto zoom it as well as do pinch to zoom.
Great. Can a teacher pre-assign classes?
Yes, so most teachers, what they do is they prepare for this class, they upload all their activities, they create the lesson, and then they put this link from the invite link into their week's agenda. So they put, oh, on Monday is this lesson, Tuesday is this lesson, Wednesday is this lesson. So you can do that, all of that.
Cool.
So I think we are out of time, so I'm going to stop the recording. We are, like I said, we are going to stick around here. So if you want more questions, I would like to thank all of you to spend this 1 hour with us. Please join us on Facebook, join our Facebook group, Teachers Using Whiteboard.chat, right? And of course, send us feedback at any time. And if you want certificates, we do PD certificates for this as well. Reply to Dhawal's email or send us an email and we'll send you those.